All right, if we could all find a seat, we'd like to get started here in just a moment, please.
How was that?
That's good.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Midwest City City Council to order. First order of business, we're going to have the invocation by Pastor Spain, who we're delighted to have here this evening. Following that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman McClure. If you'd all stand with me, please.
Let's pray. Our Father, we want to thank you for your great blessing on this land, upon our nation, upon our state, and upon our city. There are few that enjoy what we enjoy here in Midwest City. And tonight we come asking your blessing upon the meeting tonight, upon each council member. We thank you for them, for their work, their diligence, and their effort to make sure that everything is done in a manner that is honorable not only to you, but to the citizens of this great city. And so we pray for them, and we pray for each agency, and realize the tremendous task that each one has to carry out all the duties that are required to maintain order in a city like this. And so tonight, we honor you, thanking you that you, the creator of all things, also established governments, and you have encouraged those who know you to pray for our leaders. And so we pray for these leaders tonight that you will give them wisdom and insight, that you will help them to carry out their duties in a manner that is honorable and pleasing to you. And we again thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy and for all that you've done to bless us. And we thank you and pray now upon this meeting tonight that you will be pleased with everything that is done in order of the city of Midwest City. And we thank you for them. In Christ's name, thank you.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next we have community-related announcements.
I just have one announcement. We have the Daddy-Daughter Dance this Saturday, February the 28th. The 6 p.m. slot is full, but we still have room in the 4 p.m. and the 8 p.m., so make sure all you daddies sign up your daughters. And I do have one more announcement. We have with us a special guest today. His name is Nolan Jones, and he's here in the back row. And he's working on his Eagle Scout, so just if you see him, say hello to him. He's a good guy. That's all I got.
Thank you. Okay, next order of business, we have with us this evening a distinguished guest, Carolyn Stanger, who's with Oklahoma Municipal League, and we have 20-year service pins to award to several members of the staff here at the City of Midwest City. So Carolyn, if you'd meet me downstairs, we'll do that thing next.
Thank you very much. Being an old Carl Albert graduate and a Midwest City girl, it's always an honor and fun to come back, and certainly to honor those individuals, those municipal officials and employees who have given such a significant part of their life to municipal service. The Honor Roll of Service is something that several years ago the Oklahoma Municipal League Board of Directors wanted to determine a way to honor those individuals who had given such a big part of their life to municipal government, and so therefore they came up with the Honor Roll of Service. So each of the recipients tonight will be given a certificate, an Honor Roll of Service pin, and their names will be inscribed in a leather-bound book that's on permanent display at the OML offices, which our offices are right near the Capitol building. So if you're in Oklahoma City, please feel free to stop by. It's sometimes fun, I think, to kind of reflect on what was going on 25 years ago versus today. One of the things that I looked up was the Dow closed 25 years ago at 2753. Any idea what it closed at today?
18,000.
How much? You're right on, Mayor. Now listen, you got a sharp mayor here. He's up on these things. What about a gallon of gas? What was it you think 25 years ago?
25.9.
How much?
25.9.
97 cents.
97?
97?
Oh, we're back too far.
Yeah. Anyway, postage stamps were 25, and I think they're what, like 49 or something. They're almost double today. So anyway, it's always fun to look at the politics. I mean, George Bush Sr. became president that year, and just the technology improvements. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. But we're here to honor some special individuals this evening. So I'll pass the mic back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Carolyn. We so appreciate your taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. I'm going to call these names because some of these folks I don't know, and some of them may not be here. First one is Mr. Stoney Tuskegee, if I pronounced that right. Tieski. He's not here. Don't tell him I mispronounced his name, Bill. Okay. All right, Mr. Daniel Cole. Is Daniel here? I think not. Okay. I know there's some here because I saw him. Nick Cargill from the police department. Nick's not here, Roger? Okay. I spotted Roger Ross out in the audience. Come on up. Lieutenant Roger Ross, Midwest City Police Department. Next up, Mr. Glenn Brown, Assistant Chief Brown, Midwest City Fire Department. Mr. Alan Clark. Alan, I think you're on the planning commission, is that right? Building committee. He's the guy that does all the work and doesn't get any of the glory. Mr. Dean Hinton. Dean here this evening? Dean was a school principal a long time ago. Actually, him and I started coaching about the same time, back in 19-something. And last but not least, certainly, Mr. Keith Mikeman. Mikeman's on the mechanical board. He's kind of another one of those unseen guys that does really a lot of hard work and really makes the city of Midwest City a special place. Thank you very much for all the folks that have dedicated 25 years to the city of Midwest City. You guys are great, and thank you again, Carolyn, for coming out. Okay, item C is the consent agenda. These items are placed on the consent agenda so that members of the City Council, by unanimous consent, can approve routine agenda items by one motion. If any item proposed on the consent agenda does not meet with approval of all of the council members or members of the audience wish to discuss the proposed item with the council, then that item will be removed and heard in regular order.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item D1, discussion consideration of electing a vice mayor to fill the vacancy that was created when J.D. Collins was elected mayor and to serve the remainder of the unexpired term.
I nominate Councilman Ray.
Second.
Have a motion and a second that Councilman Ray will fulfill the duties of the vice mayor. There's a meeting on Thursday afternoon, Jim. Appreciate that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. We appreciate your service, Jim.
Thought I heard a railroad somewhere.
All right.
Okay, item D2, PC 1825, public hearing with discussion consideration of approval of a resolution for a special use permit to allow the use of drinking establishments, sit-down, alcoholic beverages, and Low Point beer permitted in the C3 Community Commercial District for the property described as a part of the northwest quarter of Section 1, Township 11 North, Range 2 West, located at 9808 East Reno Avenue. This is a public hearing.
Are there members of the audience that wish to speak in favor or oppose this issue? Okay. If you'd like to, ma'am, come up to the podium and try to speak in the microphone so everyone can hear. And prior to starting, if you'd please give us your name and your address, please, for the record.
My name is Barbara Pruitt. I live at 137 Bradford Place here in Midwest City, and it's just across the street from the proposed bar that we're
Okay.
speaking. And Rick Dawkins is my counsel. Thank you very much, and thank you for serving. As I said, I represent people within the neighborhood, 15 of which on Bradford Place signed a protest. So I'm speaking for those 15. 6 of those 15 live within the 300-foot perimeter of the proposed bar. 9 all live in that neighborhood and use the only gate in and out of Reno. So even though they're not within the 300-foot perimeter, they can only get into their homes through that gate that is. So that's why we included those people on our protest. And of course, we know that Midwest City needs businesses, and that particular property is zoned, rightly so, C3, so it's a perfectly legal application, and we recognize that. But we also know that with the kind of business that's coming in there, if you approve, comes also some risks and costs to our city. And we'd just like to remind you of those risks and costs today. I'm going to use as reference not our gut, but the Center for Problem-Oriented Policing. It's a nationally known organization that actually supports your police here in Midwest City, Oklahoma City, and across the nation, and they're writing ways to address really major problems in the policing area alone. The risks that they outline in just one of their 11 documents relating to bars in neighborhoods is increased assaults. They say that we can expect 4 times the number of assaults, including sexual assaults, if a bar is in the neighborhood. Disorderly conduct, parking lot fights, child abduction and molestation. And I only picked that one up because we do have a park and 2 child learning centers within the neighborhood. And so, of course, we are all very conscious of child welfare. Increased DUI and rage driving. If there's a fight that occurs in or outside of the bar, I guarantee there's only 2 choices people make, and that's either to have a fight on grounds or get in their car and be angry. Increased DUI and rage driving is how I identified that. And then that we're bound to have accidents as we have the entrance onto Reno, and that's a busy street. In the other 10 center guides, they related to such things as gambling, underage drinking, drugs, prostitution. I don't even think we need to go there tonight. We do have risks that we can actually mitigate if we're very careful and if you approve this application. I've spoken to Mr. Jenke, as a Planning Commission suggested, and I've given him this whole list of the things that risk, and then gone back to the 15 people that signed the protest, and we did a little brainstorming. Of course, if you disapprove the application, we don't have anything to worry about. If you approve the application, we'd like to have considered for tying into your approval such things as club parking lot. We'd like that with shielded floodlights. We'd like to have cameras and a guard, somebody that's available to call the authorities when we really need them. Lynn Fry Park, which is that park where children play till all hours of the day. We talked to some people on your public works staff, and a fence around that park would just be more than you could handle as far as maintenance is concerned. However, we did come to an agreement that a fence, at least on Reno, with perhaps some mature trees, if we could see some planted there, and we're looking to Mr. Janke, who's thinking about opening the bar, having him help with that fence installation. The gate to Bradford Place, where I enter just to go to my own home, we'd like to have a security camera put up there, and that comes from remembered pain. So I haven't lived there for 2 years, so I don't remember Frenchie's. But Frenchie's was a bar in this same location that people left the grounds of Frenchie's and immediately tried to exit Reno. For whatever reason, I won't pass judgment. But they would move right into Bradford Place and either crash the gate or knock over the little system that we have for entrance to the gate. But we had no way of identifying those people. So if we can have a camera there, it would help us a lot. And it usually costs between $400 and $700 to install that kind of a camera, but there's a $50 fee, and we'd pick up the $50 maintenance fee if we could just have some cameras put up there. The last thing is, the proposal was that the opening of the bar would happen at noon and continue throughout the day until 2 o'clock the next morning. Because of the children's park and because of the 2 child care centers in the neighborhood, we would like to have considered that, say, opening during school here from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till the 2 o'clock in the early morning hours for that. Primarily rated to the traffic coming and going from those child care centers and that consideration. Those were the things we thought most likely to mitigate many of the risks. We'd like you to consider those when you are thinking about approving or disapproving the request. Thank you. Any questions?
Did members of the council have any question for this? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor or against this? There's several people. Come on, go ahead and come up if you'd like. You'd state your name and your address, please.
My name is Sandra Janke. I live at 2061 Lynn Place, Choctaw. And I will be one of the owners of the bar also. And also along with this bar, I am opening the little health food store as a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week little diner, little food place. And I'm going to be straight up front and honest. You know, we all come in here and nervous. You know, I'm not college educated. You know, this kind of work is kind of all I know, and I think I'm really good at it. I've owned a bar before, and I maintain it very well. You know, no drugs, totally against drugs, you know. I believe in a good, clean, clientele. And I have grandchildren, I have children, and I'm very concerned about mine too. But when you live in a gated community, you know, you should feel pretty safe, and, you know, I agree with her. But in the real world, how closed in do you really got to be? It doesn't matter where you go, Walmart, anywhere you go, things happen. You know, we're not doing this to punish anybody or to hurt anybody. It's a business that I know. It's jobs, you know, for other people. The restaurant, the way I see it, I'm creating jobs. So I just feel that this is kind of like an extortion type deal, that if you don't disapprove, or approve, whichever way, they want lights, they want cameras, They want a guard. How much more will they want, after that? How safe do you really have to feel? Because no matter where you go, it's out there. So, excuse me. It's kind of hot right here. But anyway, and a fence, and trees. It doesn't matter, like even at a park, any little park. I mean, this is a little park. Are you watching your children? How well will a fence protect your child? It doesn't matter. So I'm really trying to be human, straightforward, Jobs are hard to find for women my age, and I want to do this because I'm really good at it, and I want to make money too. And, a lot of people's got to have a happy place. So I'm creating a happy place also. I'm going to be straight up honest, So I'm willing to work with her if she has any problems. But as far as all these demands, I see that if we do this, how much more will they want, And being already gated in, like I said, how closed in do you have to be from the world and be, you can't protect or watch, everything all the time. And your children, you got to let them go to school. You got to worry about who's going to come in and shoot your kids at school, It's everywhere. I watched a video about a month ago at Walmart. A lady was in the store. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Man comes up and takes her little 2-year-old right out of the cart, holds a knife to her throat. So really, the man did get shot and killed right there in the store. So it's everywhere. It's not just a bar. 2 streets, it happened on Sunday. We were driving by to take my granddaughter home. 2 streets below the Bradford place, someone ran right over the sign and mashed it down right up on the curb. The bar wasn't open. So things are going to happen in life no matter where you go. And it doesn't always contribute to a bar. We're willing to work and try to make her feel comfortable because, that's what we want out of the neighborhood. And also, the daycares aren't really too concerned because they're not here. We care for their children also. But also, I'd like to request that I want to open it from noon to 2 a.m. in the morning, 7 days a week. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I love that you're going to open the store next door. That's great. That's been vacant for so long, and thank you for doing that.
Is it diner?
Yes,
It's a
it will
diner,
be separated also from the bar, so no children, whoever comes into the restaurant cannot see any activity from,
But the diner's 24/7?
yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Guy gets here one day, he's got questions, just run all over people, man. Jeez. No, I'm just kidding. No, my question was following up on the last speaker. She has provided, I guess, the same copy you have there. One of her concerns was obviously opening at noon, just trying to maybe avoid some collisions. Have you seen? You've been doing bars for a while.
Yes.
Obviously, I've never owned one. So, have you seen some problems with maybe people getting drunk? Maybe they're drunk at 2 or 3 when
No.
we're picking up kids. That's
No.
never been a concern. Do you share her concern in the slightest?
Oh, I'm concerned, yes, I have children also, but every bar in Midwest City opens at noon, and I feel we should be entitled also. There are a lot of children that walk by many bars while they're open during happy hour,
I
when
was
they
curious
get out.
if you ever had any experience with that. That's all I had on that one.
No.
Would you? And I know she also asked about some trees in the area. Would you be opposed to putting some trees out front, or is that also something you maybe wouldn't be so favorable about?
I have a question, what would the trees do? Is the trees for making it look good? Is the trees for protection, for noise sound? What's the purpose of the trees?
I like trees. I'm always talking about trees.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm going to put,
as far as aesthetics from the street is what I was asking about, but just following up on her, I feel like if she came here and she had these concerns, I wouldn't be doing a good job if I didn't kind of address them with you.
okay, and where is she wanting these trees, like put in front of the bar to hide the bar? Because those are my intentions of, I'm a very good landscaper,
So there will be some landscaping
Yes,
out
sir.
front?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm sorry, sir. Come on up. State your name, please, and your address for the
Yes,
record.
my name's Quinn Jenke. I live at 2061 Lynn Place in Choctaw. I'll be the other owner of the place. A little bit about my ethos is that I was born and raised on a dairy farm in North Dakota, 27 years in the Air Force as a B-52 tail gunner and a KC-135 boom operator. I now write books for pilots and air crew. I'd like to start with we need to start treating people as adults. Yes, things will happen and stuff like that, but these are your neighbors and stuff that be coming to this bar. Also, there is code and stuff like that that we have to follow when we open this bar, and how much a person can consume and stuff like that. So we have to let that sort of take effect. What we're trying to do is to establish an old school social media, you might say. Psychiatrists all say that we need more social contact, face-to-face contact, rather than thumbs on a cell phone. There's other issues that I think are a little bit worse than some of the stuff that may come out of the bars, like texting and driving. These kind of things all going on along Reno also, okay? But we don't do anything to stop that, okay? So, and those things are getting worse. So what we need is, my partner runs a tight ship, okay? She is purely reputation-based, okay? She knows her business is her reputation, and without that reputation, she will not have a business, okay? As far as consideration for gate and security and stuff like that, as my partner said, that to me, if you already had an incident, why didn't you put one in then? Okay. Also, you put in a camera, which way is it going to be facing? Towards our bar? Now you have privacy issues. Okay. And as far as there's 4 that were within 300 feet, not 6. Fences, I got something better than fences. Parents, watch your kids. And with that, I ask you to approve our application. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the audience?
I'd like to clarify that the special use permit for the liquor would only be for the west building. Is that correct? Okay.
As far as, I know actually this is the last one about the apartments, Billy. Could we require trees out front to try to maybe make that look like a nice area there? I know you hate that question. I asked you last time.
Well, I think if there was a reason for that, I think that you could, if there was some type of screening from a neighbor or something like that, I think that would be a requirement that you could do. And if that's, in this case, is something that you wanted to do, if there was some reasonable, if one of the people protesting were living right across the street and were worried about, the screening over there, then that would be something you could do.
Okay.
And they would have to screen for the residential, so they would have to screen for as it being residential around the sides and the rear.
So they would already have to do that.
Yes.
Is property behind that Billy zoned
Yes.
R1?
R6.
R6, okay.
Behind, when they put them on the trees on the side and the back, what's the density they have to put that to make it site proof?
Well, as the trees would grow, they would have to provide screening. At a minimum, we'd be required to do a 6-foot privacy fence, such as a stockade fence.
Okay, in addition to the trees.
No, not in addition to the trees.
Just one or the other.
It'd be one or the other.
Gotcha.
I guess I'll entertain a motion.
Move to deny.
I'll second that.
Did we have a second, Daniel?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to deny. All in favor say
I
aye.
like
Aye.
discussion.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry.
sorry. I was just saying discussion. I just wanted to say one thing that is, out of all the negative things that I've heard, and there's a you have to find common ground and a balance. And I look at one thing that these owners are talking about, and that's about jobs. About people having a job. Now, I don't know what the employment rate would be. I didn't get a chance to ask that question, but.
Twenty-five total.
25 total.
Well, it'll be
I was a math teacher, I can't.
So when I look at businesses, and you have all types of businesses, and that's what the world consists of. And another thing that I was listening to is he was saying how social, old school social. So you're looking at probably an older clientele. And I was looking at these positive things. I know we can all look at something negative, and there's, always things negative in the world, but you have to look at sometime what can something like this do for Midwest City? What can it do for people that have these type of qualification for this type of jobs? So my other question or maybe statement is that what is such of a problem with it being in this particular area that there's not clubs around neighborhoods like this, around a neighborhood? Are there not, is this in the center of a neighborhood or something? I don't see that. Is that brown part, the D up in there, that part? That seemed to be on the, okay. It sits on the outs, on the street. Am I correct? It's not centered in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's it on the street.
Okay. And it doesn't seem to be sitting in the middle of a neighborhood. And I look at that too, and those are businesses where El Reno is over there. Are those businesses over there, or is those?
That's residence, that's a gated community.
That's a gated
Just
community.
Just north of the inn on Reno.
This building right here is the child care center.
Mhm.
These are medical offices, this is the child care center.
Okay.
These are all.
And so, and when we look at businesses also, I look on 23rd, we have Crutcho, we have businesses down there, there's a bar or something, there's some type of club, a motorcycle club. And I believe one thing positive, another thing they said is parenting, that parents need to be supervising their children. That's any time and anywhere. We need to grow up. And I think that's a plus too. I just look at some of the positive things that can come out of something as this, a business, and that is basically being able to employ people and a business revenue for Midwest City. If I thought it was something that endanger, what is the endangerment that we see? I have a list of things here, and everything I'm looking at, these things can happen anywhere. I look at that, and no disrespect to the residents or anything, but this is a gated community. How would that affect you if it's gated? How are you all looking directly at this particular club? Are you looking directly at it?
Visiting grandchildren frequently. She couldn't be here tonight because she had root canal. But her children play in that park just across the fence. And today, it's just like
Councilwoman Price, I think you
Yes.
think you made a good point. I think this is probably something that I think we can work out a compromise on this, make this doable. So I'll rescind my motion to second.
And I want to ask these men, these owners here, would you really put a club in a place where you think was endangerment to a neighborhood? I know you're prior military, so I know you probably have more concern than that, being, okay. And I like what you,
Okay, sir, I'm
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry,
sir.
the rest of us can't hear you. If you'd like to come back
Go
up to
back
the
up here,
front,
both of you too. Thank you.
and I apologize.
Wait, sorry.
Yeah, so when we were looking at this property, we looked at the west, the south, and the east, and it is residential, but it's not populated. We've had a lot of people while we've been there from, I believe it's the Oka area there, come in and thank us for opening the bar, because they want to come to it. It was their old home and stuff, and yes, they are sort of senior individuals, and that's the clientele we're sort of looking for, is those individuals. We're not looking for a rowdy bar. That's not what we run.
Okay.
We're not running Frenchies.
Okay.
We're running a new bar.
Okay.
Councilwoman Price, I'm trying to back it up with you.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
I'm gonna
Okay,
back it up with you.
I just want to
I made
ask.
a motion to rescind my second.
I was just, I just want to, I just want to know more about it for
Understand?
the clientele and also employers. How many, and that's a reasonable amount of employees. You said it was about 25, 13?
Yes, ma'am, and
That's-
my future plans are to try to create more jobs. That's what I want, out of life. I want people who like me, who can't get jobs, to get jobs. There are a lot of people out there that aren't, skilled or went to college, and, they could waitress, they could cook, wash dishes, to feed a family. That's how I see it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, because I'm looking at the growth of our city, as well as safety, as well as what type of clientele.
Correct my motion.
I do like the clientele that you are visualizing, and I motion.
We got a pending motion.
Well,
Can we push raise?
So we have a motion on the floor, but we don't have no second at this point.
Motion on the floor is.
Excuse me, I don't know if we did
Right.
say, we will have cameras on all four corners of the buildings. We will have someone watching the parking lot at all times. I want to let that be known.
Okay.
Were you
all
planning on
safety.
doing some sort of beautification of the?
Yes, sir.
What were you going to do? What were you
I
planning
like
on?
trees, I like bushes, shrubs to kind of dress it up so it doesn't look,
So if this is approved, that's something that you plan on doing?
yes, sir.
Okay.
And then again, Councilman, let me just, you all rectify this. We're talking about all these trees and things. You put too many trees, you give people a place to hide.
Mayor,
Can
we,
And
seek a second
I love
or
trees too,
let
but
that motion die?
landscaping,
Yeah.
watch how you landscape it. Nobody's not hiding somewhere behind trees
Yeah.
and things. Make it beautification, but not so many trees that, you have people
Okay,
hiding or something.
I think we're just a little off, I think we're just a little off the subject. Let's draw ourselves back in, and Councilman Dawkins has made a motion to
Okay.
deny this thing. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion other than what we've just had?
so a vote in favor of Rick's motion would
So
be to
the motion
deny.
is to deny the request, and we'll start with Ward 1.
So his motion is to approve, so I would vote against the motion if I wanted to deny.
No, his motion is to deny.
Okay.
Motion.
Mhm. Okay, I
Motion.
don't want to deny, so I will vote no.
Okay?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, you-
Are we
well,
voting to
well,
approve?
No, you're voting to deny.
Oh, no, I'm voting to approve. I'm
So
sorry.
you would say no to.
I'm sorry,
If
no.
you want to approve
You
it.
Let's-
got two
excuse-
noes and a yes over here, right?
Council-
Do you want them to be able to put their bar?
Yes.
You would vote,
So your vote would be nay.
Nay.
So we have two noes and a yes. And we have a yes and a no, correct?
correct.
I have a, yes.
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
No, it's three.
He would,
Well,
No, it's,
frankly, it doesn't matter because.
It'll be a
We got-
tie.
it's 3-2.
3-2.
I like to make a motion.
No, I made a motion.
I'm gonna vote no on the motion,
I like to make a motion.
okay?
No.
I would make a motion to approve the request with the inclusion of some landscaping in the front to include trees.
Okay, we have a motion.
Mm, How many trees?
Do I
Lots
need to
of
give you a
trees?
tree number, Billy, when I say 3 trees?
Three trees would be
I'm
helpful?
gonna say 3 trees.
Okay.
Is that doable?
Whatever tree makes you happy. I prefer apple trees because I like apple pie. That's a great tree. That's fine.
Okay.
That's good.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and second, so we'll start with Ward 1. This is to approve.
Approve the motion?
The
Aye.
proposal. Aye,
Nay.
Aye.
and the mayor votes aye.
Let me know when it opens. I'm gonna come have lunch
Yeah, let us know.
at the diner.
We're gonna keep our eye on it, see how it's going.
Thank
And
everyone.
believe me, we're gonna
Thank-
be watching.
Thank everyone
these-
for their participation. And ma'am, Sergeant Ross, or Lieutenant Ross from the police department's right back there. If you have any trouble, contact the Midwest City Police Department.
We're gonna work with you.
I did 30 years on the police department, had very little trouble out of Frenchie's, and I'm trusting these people will do as good a job as the previous owners.
Thank you all for bringing some employment. Thank you.
Your favorite bar checks, Mayor?
Not much happened there.
I know.
I'm surprised they stayed in business
They
as long as
closed
they
it
did.
till, yeah, they closed at like 10.
All right, item,
D3 is
D3.
discussion, consideration of accepting the findings and recommendations of the Solid Waste Review Committee.
Move to approve.
Second.
a motion and a second to approve the recommendation of the Solid Waste Committee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. New business or public discussion. Is there new business or public discussion? Hearing none. Further information.
No action is necessary.
No action necessary on further information. So we're ready for item G, which is adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to the Midwest City Authority. Call the business to order. Discussion items, discussion and consideration of approving the minutes of the staff briefing and regular meetings of February the 10th, 2015 as submitted.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve item B1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
D2 is discussion, consideration of accepting the report on the current financial condition of the Sheraton Midwest City Hotel at the Reed Center for the period ending January 31, 2015.
Move to approve it.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve item B2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Is there new business for public discussion for the Midwest City Municipal Authority? Hearing none, I'd entertain a
Move
motion
to
to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item is the Midwest City Hospital Authority. Discussion and consideration of approving the minutes of the staff briefing and regular meetings of February the 10th, 2015 as submitted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve item B1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item B2, discussion, consideration of action to reallocate assets, change fund managers, or make changes in the statement of investment policy guidelines and objectives. No action is necessary on that item. B3 is discussion, consideration of following the Midwest City Memorial Hospital Authority Board of Grantors recommendation for approval and authorizing distribution of the following grant awards totaling $400,000 for the fiscal year 2014-2015. $61,000 to the Midwest City Police for wearable video cameras, $47,581 to Rose State College for Phase 2 of the Atkinson Heritage Center Revitalization Project, $75,000 to the Midwest City Grants Management for Boys and Girls Club Pilot Program, $91,000 to Midwest City Public Relations for Stories of Christmas Project, $27,848.26 to the Midwest City Fire Department for Community Risk Reduction Partnership, $16,794.60 to Middale Public Schools for Sprigario. I don't think I got that right. It's a safety initiative. $14,800 to Midwest City Tree Board for 29th and I-40 Island beautification. $38,776.14 to Midwest City Parks and Recreation for emergency blue phones. $1,900 to RSVP of Central Oklahoma for provide a ride medical transportation, $25,300 to Midwest City Tree Board for Midwest Boulevard Street Beautification Project.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve item B3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to thank Glenn and your committee. Great job. I've read over there. There's tough decisions to make, I know. One of these I questioned pretty well, but the police department convinced me they really needed those cameras. But all of these are great, great. Thank you, Glenn. Tell everybody on your committee. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Councilman Ray, for saying exactly what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
But I attended the meeting of the Board of Grantors, and those are fine folks that represent the city of Midwest City well and reflect our values. And
She wanted to be here and say nice words and everything, but she had tickets to the Thunder game.
well, maybe you can play the tape for her and tell her how much we
So,
appreciate the
yes.
work she did.
Can I say one thing here?
No. Go
I
ahead.
just want to make sure that everyone knows that the cameras have no reflection on our belief in the finest police department in the United States. That we approve the cameras because it just is the thing people are doing right now. But I hope that the police department know that we have every confidence in our policemen, and this is absolutely no reflection on how we feel about it.
Yeah, see?
There's a lot of stuff, good part
It's
about it,
it's
but
becoming
I've talked to some police officers that don't understand it, and they're looking at it wrongly, and I just want to make it as clear as possible that this committee has absolutely no reservations that we have the finest police department in the country.
And I think they know that. Right.
See, my only hesitation about it was I'm afraid it would slow them up in the reaction of saving their own life or somebody else's life. Thinking, oh no, this will be.
I think that's the last thing they're gonna be thinking about it if a situation like that comes up.
That was my only concern, and since
Yeah.
then it's been totally relieved by the police department to me, so I'm fine.
I can, yeah. Well, thank you very much, and I certainly agree with you, Glenn. Of course, having spent 30 years with the police department, we appreciate that. And to put everybody's mind at ease, I can tell you, if you get in a stressful situation, you revert to your training, and you don't have time for a thought process. So it's going to be fine. And it's also becoming an accepted standard in police law, in law enforcement in the United States. Next item is new business for public discussion for the Midwest City Hospital Authority. And finally,
E1,
item D.
I'm D1, excuse me, discussion, consideration of one entering into executive session as allowed under 25 OS Section 307C10 to confer on matters pertaining to economic development, including the transfer of property, financing, or the creation of a proposal to entice a business to remain or to locate within the city, and two, in open session, authorizing action as appropriate based upon the discussion in executive session.
Move to go to executive session.
A motion and a second to go to executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll be in executive session. We'll return shortly. But that's the last item, so if you're hanging around for that, you're not going to miss anything.